Hello guys, Zach here, and don't worry, I know I've been away for 2 or 3 days, I think it's 3 days now, but service will resume as normal. I was just very busy over the Friday and Saturday where I was moving house to my new house, and then Sunday I decided to take a day off because I don't really like to do much on Sundays. I'm very lazy, and though I'm not a religious man, I still like to use Sundays as my days of rest. So anyway, what have we got today? Well, this is an old game. This game is indeed from 2002, the Legion Clan Arbalete Cup number 2 for a grand prize of $10,000. I believe this is one of the final games. I think the finals were a best of 3. I will bring you the whole of the best of 3 between these two guys, and you may be wondering who these two guys are. Well, in blue today we have CNSLF, which is actually Halen. You saw a game from him, not the last video before that, but the video before when I was saying about the old games. This is Halen, who you saw play in that game, and I'm sure a lot of you enjoyed watching that, so I thought I'd do another one. And he is playing as Huns off to the right-hand side, well, I suppose upper right-hand side of the map. And his opponent today in red is CNS Grunt. I believe this guy is Japanese or Korean, or I think. He has been around for quite a long while actually, and I'm pretty sure I've done a commentary with him in it before as well. And he is actually playing as Vikings down to the bottom left of the map. It's a little bit of a shame that the map doesn't actually have water all the way around the outside. It's not exactly coastal. Which would mean that galleys could become an option. So the Vikings here would probably have a little bit of a disadvantage in the early game, because obviously they're a little bit slower to get started, as the fact that they need to spend a lot of wood on houses, whereas that extra wood for LF here, Halen, can be used to build military. So let's just see how it goes for these guys, and I'm going to speed time up until we get to some action. Let's have a look at the map while we do that. Well, I think these old players have a very different play style. They don't really go for the gold units so soon, and they make very interesting unit combinations. I've seen a lot of these old games now, and it always seems to me like they make a lot of spearmen as well, which is pretty interesting. You've got to bear in mind this is quite early stages of the game, and it hasn't been figured out completely just yet. So some of the things that they do may appear a little bit odd, like luring both boar at the same time, though he does have the correct amount of villagers gathering from each one, so there's nothing wrong with that particularly. But there are a few things that they do that are a little bit odd. I just noticed this map does have 3 boar on it, so off to a very fast start, I believe. That map's, well, LF has got gold to the front, and so has Grunt, both at the front here, and I don't think either of these guys will have too much of a trouble actually walling if they want to. It's quite an easy map to wall actually, just here, and he will have a pretty much full frontal wall, and of course the side easy to wall as well, and in fact he is doing that. And I've noticed as well, this map does indeed have 4 boars. I'm not sure how many Grunts did actually get, because I can't actually see 4 boar carcasses at the base of his town centre. So I'm not sure how LF managed to get 4 there, unless he did steal Grunts, which in that case I totally missed, and I apologise for that. But Grunt is actually taking deer right now. Let's have a look at how much food they've got. Well, Grunt 300, LF 641, so he's got a little bit of extra food from somewhere, which indicates to me perhaps one of Grunt's boar was forward, and LF Halen here did take it. He's also taking fish at the back, which is a nice choice to make. Not over the top with the fishing ships, because there's not that many fish in this water. There's some big fish in the corner, and there are a few shorefish around, but not a great deal of fish overall. And Grunt into the Feudal Age first. Let's see what he goes for. Well, he's already built a barracks and a house coming up right there, and what military production is he going? Archery range, so we'll probably see some skirmishers and archers from him. LF also going for an archery range along with his barracks, and let's see, well, this is what I get a little bit confused. Maybe not confused, but they always seem to make a lot of spearmen very early on, and I know we see spearmen in defense from a scout rush, but scout rushing wasn't, I don't think, ever that popular back in the day, because they always seem to go for the archery range still, which is kind of odd. But you'll see LF here actually will make a few spearmen, and I suppose it does work out quite nicely, but it's just a little bit strange to me that they do that. Very weird, but not bad either. I don't know, it's just their game style really does change a lot over the years. Grunt not making any spearmen yet though, and he is just throwing up an archery range of his own. But if we look at their populations, Grunt on 32, LF on 35. I'm not sure if that's because he's got more fishing ships, but being a hunt player, he is able to populate himself much more quickly due to the fact he doesn't have to make houses, and as I said already, he does save a lot of resources not having to build these houses which cost 30 wood each. That's a lot of skirmishes you could build right there with the amount of houses that he's actually got. So LF just making some more dudes, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be moving out very soon. Kind of late to start taking gold, and at this stage, if we were watching the Viper for instance, we'd see about 6 or 7 gold collectors to keep archery ranges continually producing archers, but no, LF is just going for skirmishers and of course some spearmen at the front, so different army compositions altogether, and Grunt throwing down his 3rd archery range right now. LF only on the 2, and he is going to start moving in across the map with his spearmen and his skirmishers. Let's see if he can do any damage here. He's already got fletching, so he will be able to do a little bit more damage to villagers, so it's not out of the question that he'll be able to attack them. But I think Grunt is going to have a bit of a hard time gathering gold on this game. His gold is at the front here, and LF is very close to that gold indeed. Grunt couldn't help, he could help himself by trying to wall this a little bit just to keep his gold safe, because unfortunately for him, he does have quite a bad map. I suppose he could take the gold up there though, and he would be able to get a little bit of gold income, but for Grunt it does look like he will have a little bit of a problem getting some gold. He may want to put a watchtower up on here as well, and it looks to me like Grunt is actually outnumbering LF here, pushing him away. LF trying to do a nice little split, but it's not really working out because great micro from Grunt, and I think that's 1 apiece for these guys, 1 skirmisher for each, and it's pretty neck and neck right now, though LF does have a score lead. I imagine he's got a lot more skirmishers overall than Grunt does have, and he's continuing to reinforce himself. Population wise, well, it's 56 to 53, so still fairly close on population, but I imagine LF has got a few more resources, or he has a few more military. I'm not 100% sure just yet. Have to wait and see as Halen moves back out again, and I think he's going to be able to take out quite a few skirmishers here. He's hugging this hill. He can of course get back onto the hill and use that to his advantage, bringing the spearmen in as well. I think spearmen are actually not too bad against skirmishers if they are in the side of the minimum range of the skirmisher, because skirmishers do have an attack bonus against spearmen, but if they're up right next to them in their face, the skirmishers can't actually attack because they're too close. So maybe these spearmen are actually pretty good shout. Of course, if Grunt does decide to make some what are they called? If he does decide to make some scout cavalry, then the spearmen will be able to pick them off very nicely as well. And I've just realised Grunt only just getting a blacksmith, so he lost out massively there. He really should have had fletching, as he's really far behind in upgrades. He's not got +1 attack, he's not got +1 defense, and Halen does, which means that battle right there, where those dead bodies are, that was really in favour of LF Halen here. And I think if Grunt had those upgrades already at the blacksmith, he probably would have been in the lead right now. He got those upgrades a bit late. He really does have the amount of military he needs. He just needs the upgrades, and if he had them, he'd probably be on top right now. So it's always important to get your upgrades, and I think I've talked about this before in a Zero to Hero video. They're so important, because the amount of skirmishes he's got there, if he adds +1 attack, he's basically doubled the amount of skirmishes, well, a little bit less than doubled the amount of skirmishes he's got effectively. LF still hugging to this hill, and it's really going to help him out, even though he's outnumbered here. Look how many skirmishers Grunt did just lose. I think that was 4 or 5, and LF only losing the 3, so Grunt is starting to fall behind here, and LF playing it wisely, hugging this hill, preventing Grunt from taking gold over here. Grunt is really not got any gold at all, which is going to delay him first of all into the Castle Age, and it's going to stop him from making any archers. LF though, with 5 gold collectors, that's going to allow him to at least get some archers out, and of course he is going to be able to get up to the Castle Age at some point, because look how many farms he's got. He can make a lot of units all day long. He's going to keep his villager production going, and that is of course very useful. Throwing in some scout cavalries And this is where I think LF is going to gain a huge advantage. He does have less skirmishers, yes, but these scout cavalries are just going to rip these skirmishers to shreds. I mean, he will be able to take out so many skirmishers if he gets really in the mix on there. LF Halen heading up to this side of the map just to take Grunt's attention away from the right hand side, I imagine, as he will be able to continue to harass on this side as well. And of course, these scout cavalries, because the skirmishers have no melee armor, they're just going to get absolutely owned by the scout cavalries in this case, and even trying to pick off some villagers there. Very nice work by Halen, and Halen is going to come around the other side and try and keep Grunt preoccupied whilst he manages to mass up some more army on the right. Now switching to archers. Archers are now coming out for LF, and he will be able to possibly gain an advantage here. Archers and scout cavalry are the best combination you can have in the feudal age, and because the scout cavalry's rip to shreds the skirmishers, the archers rip to shreds the spearmen. They're just the ultimate combination in the feudal age, but they are again the most expensive combination, so it's going to be pretty hard for LF to mass a lot of archers and scouts, but he is doing a pretty good job coming forwards with a watchtower as well, attacking on two fronts. Grunt struggling to deal with this attack up here. Very nice micro from Halen. He is drawing the spearmen away with his scouts whilst attacking them with his skirmishers. He did lose this battle up here, but he's not worrying too much, as he has got quite a lot of scouts and a fair few archers down here as well, which is really going to be good for him. Putting up this watchtower as well to keep the pressure on. He's going to be able to prevent Grunt from farming, and Grunt really is running out of space. Of course, you can't build on this ice, and he can only build around this side of the map now, and this side he's walled off, and it's going to be hard for him to actually really get down here without being harassed. So Grunt probably could have placed his buildings a bit better. If he'd have walled with his houses maybe here, he would have been able to keep this gold safe and at least take some gold. Throwing up a watchtower in defense, and LF is going to be able to get his up in time, I think. Grunts is going to go up first, but I don't think it's going to stop LF's from going up. He should just be able to get it up. He only needs another percentage. Just hit that hammer a few more times. There we go, that's up. Perfect timing, and LF getting right in there. I don't think he wants to stay in there for too long. He doesn't want to get wedged in there and get owned, but this watchtower really going to help LF out now. He's got his archers in there, and he will be able to pick off a lot of units with it as they get too close. This skirmisher, archer, spearman even, going to die, I believe. Now that's quite a lot of scout cavalries there. That amount of scout cavalries can probably kill all of those skirmishers, even with the upgrades. Of course, he has got +1 attack and +1 defense on the scouts. And this is another thing I love about these old games. They do love their feudal wars, and I love feudal wars, and I think everyone's got to love a bit of a feudal war every now and then. It is very interesting. Grunt just saying GG there, actually. I don't think he really could have done enough. If we actually have a look at how much food and gold LF had, he could afford now to advance to the Castle Age, and once he got there, he'd be able to afford a lot of knights as well. Grunt, without any gold, well, it's going to be tough for him anyway, just without this gold. He wouldn't have been able to get up to the Castle Age and make knights for a while. He would have had to secure this, and LF would have got to the Castle Age first, which means he would, of course, have been able to secure this gold still, or prevent Grunt from gathering it even. And Grunt, well, he really can't do a lot against scout cavalries and archers with skirmishers and spearmen, just because they just get owned so quickly by the scout cavalries, and the scout cavalries with a little bit of archer support, there's not a lot the spearmen can do either. So Grunt giving it up, and that is 1-0 to Halen here. This is a best of 3, so I will indeed bring you the next game either today or tomorrow, depending on how time goes today, once I've got this one rendered and stood alike. Yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed this. I think it's quite nice to look at games from the past, as you can kind of see how different they play, the experts back then play as they do now. So thanks for watching, guys. I've been Zach, and I will see you next time.